Hello students, Namaste. I am PPY and you are watching your favorite channel PPY tutorial. And as we all know that we are in the series of video of electronics, and in this series we have reached up to anti-resonance and 3 video of anti-resonance already uploaded, and today we are going to shoot the 4th video. So again I request as usual you have to watch those all other previous 3 videos, and then only you can continue to watch this. If you are new, then you may like, share and subscribe my channel. And without delay, let's start today's topic. Anti-resonance, that is general case. And so this is today's our topics, and this is our 4th video. Okay, and in this case what we have to do, we have to find the formula for the anti-resonant frequency when resistance present in the both inductive and capacitive branch. And so here is our source. Suppose this is a generator of a RMS value E, and it's connected with the inductive and capacitive branch. So let me make this first inductive branch, and here is the resistance also. Resistance connected in series with the inductive branch, and other branch that consists of capacitor, and capacitor branch also consists the resistor. So this is the general case, and in this case we have to find the anti-resonant frequency. So let's suppose inductor has the inductance CL and resistance R1, and capacitor has capacitance C and its resistance R2. And so this is, we have 2 branches. One branch, this we call the inductive branch because inductor here, and it is capacitive branch. And when resistance is present in the both the branch, then what would be the frequency? And actually this is the practical case, because we always get some resistance along with the inductor, as inductor is made from the some conductor, and conductor do have some resistance, that at least that resistance connected in the series. Likewise, if there is a capacitor and some resistance connected in the its series, then this will be this capacitive branch also consists of resistor, and inductive branch also consists of inductor. In this case we want to find the resonant frequency. So here admittance of capacitive first inductive branch. So what is admittance of inductive branch? We know this is the YL, we denote by this YL, and YL equals to 1 over, and C is combination of resistance plus inductor, and that's the, we know that this is the J omega L. And I want to rationalize it so that I can easily separate the real and imaginary part later. So rationalizing this, and we get the R1 square plus omega square L square. Likewise admittance of capacitive branch YC, I denote by YC, will be equals to 1 upon, that's resistance here is R2, and that value of this is 1 by J omega C. And again see, with the same logic, to separate real and imaginary part I have to rationalize it, and so this will be the R minus 1 by J omega C upon, and this of course R2 square plus 1 by J omega C whole square, and so this is the omega square C square. Okay, and so we got the 2 admittance, one for the inductive branch, other for the capacitive branch. And so the total admittance, we know that in admittance in the parallel is just sum of the individual admittance, so we can write YL plus YC. So now we have to add these 2 terms, and so here I have to add, I am going to add this, and that is the R1 Okay, R1 minus j omega L upon this is the R1 a square plus omega a square L square plus that's the R2 minus 1 by j omega c upon R2 a square plus R2 a square plus 1 by omega a square c square. So we got this value. What is this admittance terms consist of real as well as imaginary part. As you do know, this R1 terms is real and R2 real, but this j omega L and minus 1 by j omega c. These both are the imaginary part. So we'll write separately in the separating the real and imaginary part, and so there will be less space. Let me write here. So I get this y equals to we get R1 by R1 a square plus omega a square L square, and next this real part is R2 upon R2 a square plus 1 by omega a square L square, okay, omega square c square, and then now that's imaginary part comes, and imaginary part we take the minus j common. If I take minus j common, then what we get? Omega L, and here it's if I multiply by j up and down, then it becomes j square. J square is minus 1, so this becomes the plus, and so I am taking the common, that j and minus also common, so plus become minus 1 upon omega c. Okay, so but there is omega L divided by some terms of omega, that's the R1 a square plus omega a square L square, and this the another term R2 a square plus 1 by omega a square c square. By the way, this is our admittance. So total admittance, what we get? This value R1 by R1 a square plus omega a square L square, and R2 by this, likewise j times something this. And to take the minus j common, if you confuse, I just wrote here what I wrote, R2 minus 1 by j omega c was there, and so 1 by j omega c, I told you if you multiply by j and j up and down, then what we get? R2 minus this is the j, and this j square is minus 1, that becomes the plus, and so we get a j omega c, that term. And again if you take the minus j common, then this term becomes the minus j by omega c, and j is taken common, and so this term is the L. Okay, and now we know that this is the admittance we got it, and after getting the admittance, to find the frequency of anti-resonance or anti-resonant frequency, we know that at anti-resonance or resonance, what happens? Current and voltage are in the same phase, and we all know that several times we have heard this, when current and voltage are in same phase, at that time imaginary part of the admittance becomes 0. So imaginary part means this second part must be 0 for the current and voltage in same phase where anti-resonance occurs. And so what we can do, we can write for unity power factor, the imaginary term of admittance must be equal to 0, for which we will equate that equals to 0. But before that I have to rub it, and for that I have to write first introduction. Okay, let's write first. Okay, let us consider an inductor of inductance L connected to series with resistance R1, which is placed parallel with capacitor of capacitance C connected in series with resistance R2. The connection, these two branches are connected across the AC source of RMS value E as shown in diagram. So this is the introduction part I wrote, and after writing introduction part you will write for this and then this and then this and up to here. Okay, and so up to here there is no problem. Okay, and so now I don't require this figure, so I am going to draw, and I need a space also. And for this, okay, what I have written, for unity power factor the imaginary part of admittance must be equal to 0, and for which what do we need? So that's omega L by R1 square plus omega square L square minus 1 upon omega C by R2 square plus 1 by omega square C square, and this term must be equals to 0. But this happens only at anti-resonant frequency. So this is not general frequency where you have to write A, or you can give another any notation which will not confuse you. Okay. Now what left? Now we have to just simplify this. So simplify this means I have to multiply this cross multiplication. So let me write WAR times L, and this times R2 square plus 1 by omega R square C square, and this cross multiplied by this. So 1 by omega AC, omega AR times C, and this times we get the R1 square plus omega AR square L square, which equals to 0. Okay, because it is what we take the LCM, that goes other side and becomes 0, no problem. Now here we have to multiply with this. So what we get? Omega ARL R2 square plus this omega ARL and so 1 omega AR cut. So we get L upon omega AR C square. Okay. And next term is here. Next term is, and so I have to multiply this. What we get? R1 square by omega ARC, and then this multiply by another term. So again omega AR, one of the omega AR cut, and we get omega AR L square upon C, which equals to 0. Okay, and we know that we have to find the omega AR. So again we further simplify this, and there is LCM is omega AR C square. So I take that LCM. So LCM becomes omega AR C square. So we multiply here again. So we get omega AR square L C square R2 square, and here I got just L, and here R1 omega AR C 1 C left, and so C R1 square. Okay, and here is the C only, and so we have to multiply by minus omega AR A square, and so 1 C gone and 1 C left, and C L square equals to 0. And further simplification is needed here. So this term goes on that side and becomes the 0. Now we are left with omega AR whole square LC square R2 square. Okay, and so omega term see this also, and one more terms here we have AR square CL square, and remaining which term has no omega I am taking on the right side. So I got the minus CL plus C R1 square. Okay, and so here we have omega AR LC is common. So what I get, omega AR square also, omega square LC is common, and now I left with the C R2 square, and here the omega square common, and that C also got one L left here, equals to I got minus L plus C R1 square. Okay, and so omega AR square equals to, I have to take this term on the other side, so which equals to minus L plus C R1 square upon, and this is the C R2 square minus L. This goes down and here, and we have LC, and so I write this LC. This we got omega AR whole square, and so I need omega AR will be equals to 1 by root LC, and root under what we get. If I take the minus common from numerator and denominator, then what we get? This becomes minus taking common, so L minus C R1 square, and denominator, if I take minus common, then this term comes front, and L minus C R2 square. So minus cut, and so finally we got the anti-resonant frequency omega AR equals to 1 over root LC, and then we got L minus C R1 square by L minus C R2 square, and this is the square root. So friends, finally we got the anti-resonant frequency, angular frequency omega AR equals to 1 by root LC, root under L minus C R1 square by L minus C R2 square. And if you want to get it in terms of actual frequency, then we can take that 2 pi this side, and this becomes 2 pi root LC, and this comes L minus C R1 square by L minus C R2 square. So this was our resonant frequency, and so we find anti-resonant frequency when inductive and capacitive both branch consist of the resistance. So let me drop this, so I don't require this now, any of these terms. I require the total admittance, which is there only. Okay, and so total admittance we require, and this I don't need. Oh, this is not properly. Let me go with this. Okay, and so I don't require this also. Well, so that I have already copied. Okay, so now, as I told you, this is the general case, means for all the case anti-resonant frequency we can find from this relation only. So let's discuss some special cases. Special cases. First case is when R1 equals to R2 equals to 0. That is capacitor and inductor are ideal. So I told you several times that it's not possible, but still we do this to get the rough idea. And in this case, let's see what our frequency comes. So frequency of anti-resonant frequency of AR, in this case we get from this relation only. I have to put this 0. So what I get? 1 upon root LC and this is root under L minus 0, and this is L minus 0, and so this is L cut and 1 only, and so we get the 1 upon root LC, which is as usual our anti-resonant frequency which we had discussed. Okay, and second case, if R2 equals to 0, R2 equal to 0, that is the only inductive branch consists of resistor. This is the another case. Actually, this also practical case only because capacitors do not have actually the series resistance. So this will be also practical case. We can get this situation, and in this case, what we get? FAR, anti-resonant frequency, we get 1 by root LC, and root under this L minus CR1 square upon L minus that's 0, and so we get the 1 upon root LC, and we get here L minus CR1 square by L only, and if I take this only inside the root only, so this is L square and C square, and this 1 of the L, so that cut, and so we get the 1 upon root LC, 1 upon root, let me write only single square root, 1 upon LC minus what we get? C square, there will be, this is the CR1 square upon, this becomes the CL, and so CC cancel, and we get this value, in this case 1 by root LC minus R1 square by L. So this is the anti-resonant frequency which we had derived when inductive branch consists of any resistance, that is R. Okay, so these are the two cases which we can get, and another very important case we have to discuss here, that is anti-resonance at all frequency. Okay, anti-resonance at all frequency. Okay, the third special case 3. Case 3 is anti-resonance at all frequencies. Oh, what will be this? Let's see. This is a very important case. Okay, and so we take this value. Let's assume, let R1, value of R1 is root L over C, and R2 also have the same value, root over L by C. And if we get this, if we put this value in the resonant frequency in general case, so our resonant frequency formula was L minus CR1 square. So let me write what I get. I don't know what I get, but let's see, something interesting will be here. Okay, and so this is the root under, and I put this L minus C is here, and R1 square, it means L square by C. L square by C, and this C cancel. This CC cancel, and there is the next term is L minus C, R2 square also, R2 square means root L by C, means L by C, this CC cut, this also L by C. Okay, and so what we get? 1 upon root LC times L minus L by L minus L. So see this interesting things. I told you got interesting. What is this? 0 by 0 form. This which we have already faced once in our life while doing the calculus, 0 by 0 form. And what actually 0 by 0 form indicates? We usually wish to write that indeterminate form. indeterminate form. Means we are not able to determine the frequency at what this antiresonance take place. So we can get this conclusion that the antiresonance in this situation, when we choose the value of both resistance equals to L upon ratio of the root of ratio of L by C, then we get that frequency which we cannot determine. It means antiresonant frequency indeterminate. So we can conclude, so the circuit acts as anti-resonant circuit for all frequencies. Means this will completely stop the frequency, any frequency, and so we can make the use of this circuit for certain reason having no signal zone, and so that will be the importance. And I want to find the impedance. What will be the total admittance when I put this value? Okay, and again you can copy if you like, then taking the screenshot. Okay, and so let me write this. Okay, this was our admittance, and I want to find that what will be the value of the admittance when I put this resistance. Value of resistance this. Let me put first imaginary part. Okay, so firstly imaginary part, because it's bigger terms, and so I want to do one by one. So imaginary parts, if I put this imaginary part of y, if I put this value, then omega L is there. Okay, omega L is this, and R1 I got, R1 equals to, I told you, we can put the L by C plus omega square L square minus 1 by omega C, and this becomes our R2 is again L upon C plus 1 by omega square C square. Okay, and so let's simplify this further. If we simplify this, what we get, the C is LCM here, and so we get the omega LC here, and I got here L. Actually, I could take common L to cut this, it will be better. Okay, and if I take the L common here and cutting this, so we get this omega, and there is the 1 upon C plus this omega square and 1 L here. Okay, and minus here is anything common? Yeah, I can cut also taking the C common here. Okay, and so I get this 1 by omega, and this become the L plus 1 by 1 C has already gone, so C omega square. Let me further simplify this. Okay, and so after simplifying this is C, that goes the omega C up by what we get, 1 plus omega square LC, 1 plus omega square LC, and here, and this C omega square is LCM here, C omega square LCM, so here is 1 by omega upon LC omega square plus 1 and by C omega square. So this 1 omega, at least I can cut this. So what we get, omega C by 1 plus omega square LC minus this is 1, this becomes 1, and this 1 by, that's 1, and this becomes the C omega upon 1 plus LC omega square. Okay, and so this what I get, see this, we are getting the same term here. So imaginary part is 0. So again, very interesting thing we are noticing here. imaginary part is 0 of the impedance. It indicates that the condition for the anti-resonance means still that circuit, even this frequency is indeterminate, but that indeterminate takes place when imaginary part is equals to 0. Means circuit is under unity power factor. It means circuit is still is inside the anti-resonance. So interesting, I told you that this circuit acts as the anti-resonance circuit for all the frequencies. So that we got here. And now finally we can even imaginary part edit to show that it's the anti-resonance frequency. And if you want further to get the value of admittance also and this frequency, then we can put the value of R1 and R2 in this, and we simplify. Okay, and so again I need the space. You can pause the video anytime and you can copy. Okay, and so I want to find that real part of that admittance, and so that will be equals to our R1 is, I told you, root under L by C, so I take here root L by C, and here is the R1 square. R1 square means that's L upon C, omega square, so this is the omega square L square, plus R2 is also the same, L upon C I have supposed that, and that's R2 square plus 1 by omega square C square. Now we have to simplify this as usual, and so this is root L by C, I can take directly common, L by C common, and so here I get C is our LCM, and so this C goes up, and so this C here, and I can write L plus omega square L square C, plus likewise I have taken the common here this, so LCM will be omega square C square, and I got here R square omega square C square plus 1, and so what we can do now, just multiply, and so this will be the real parts of the admittance, and real parts only left here. So admittance in this case becomes equal to real part of Y. In this way we can discuss them. If someone asks you to discuss in any exam, discuss the anti-resonance at all frequency, then you can do this. And if there is a question that's derive the frequency for the LCR parallel circuit where resistance present in both inductive and capacitive branch, then we can derive this. And I think this video also becomes a little bit longer, and so I always try to explain each and every point so that you can easily understand the topics what we are going to learn. And so I am working hard for you, and so thank you very much for joining the class and watching up to last. Thanks again.